welcome to Kikao, your weekly authoritative program on Africa's agriculture. Today, we are asking the one question: is there a place for young people in agriculture? In a short while, we'll be hearing from those young people themselves on their place in this age-old sector. But first, here is a scene setter.
Youth have a critical role to play in agricultural transformation. At the moment, agriculture is not considered very attractive for the young people. We need to make it much more attractive than ever before. There are opportunities to do that, especially in terms of mechanization.
The youth would find what to do in the processes in agriculture. They're not directly getting their suits soiled in it. In the processing, in the distribution, in technology there, and the innovations that are possible in agriculture. Even sometimes disruptive innovation that is there. The youth can really get accommodation there. And by youth, I mean both sexes.
One of the greatest advantages of sub-Saharan Africa is the number of young people. It is imperative that our transformation strategies have to be made attractive to the young people to be involved more and more, especially in terms of adopting and scaling disruptive agricultural technologies.
Let's now join Dr. Canisius Kanangire, the Executive Director of AATF, as he engages a panel of young Africans actively engaged in agriculture.
Thank you, Joe. Youth engagement in agriculture is declining amidst rising youth unemployment. This is a growing concern because according to a 2014 FAO report, the services and industrial sectors have not created enough jobs for the rapidly expanding youthful labor force. This may in due course affect food security and undermine the efforts by governments across the region to drive economic growth. It is also emerging that a relatively lower percentage of the few young people involved in agriculture are using improved inputs, such as improved seeds, fertilizers, and agricultural chemicals. This means that productivity is likely to remain low and thus confine the youth to subsistence farming. The youth also feel left out in the ownership and management of critical assets in agricultural production, especially land. On this episode of Kikao series, we will examine youth engagement in agriculture and agribusiness as a critical enabler to sustainable agricultural development in Africa. I am your host, Dr. Canisius Kanangire, Executive Director of AATF, and my guests today are Lucy Wangare, Lead Consultant Onion Doctor from Kenya, and Pacific Shimimana from Rwanda. He is the founder and CEO of Real Green Gold Limited. You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Let me ask you to introduce to yourself briefly.
All right.
Who are you? What do you do currently in agriculture?
All right. My name is Lucy Wangare. I am a farmer. I'm a trained agribusiness consultant, and currently I am the founder and lead consultant at Onion Doctor. As the name suggests, we work in the onion value chain, whereby we are farmers, we're also consultants in the space, and more importantly, we are trainers in the space of the onion value chain. And we work in the semi-arid regions of Kajiado and Machakos County, mainly because of logistics and also because of the hot climate. It really makes it easier for us to produce onions with our farmers. So we have built a farmers network of around 100 acres up to now, of which we sell the onions to the Nairobi market, and we're looking forward to doing more in the onion value chain, because we are sitting on a multi-billion-dollar industry. So we look forward to that.
Fantastic. When I heard about Onion Doctor, I was seeing some sort of phytosanitary type of project, taking care of diseases which affect onion. Is that part of it?
Yes, but the doctor part is the whole chain. We don't just look at production. We look at today that we are going to have local seeds that are hybrid for local production, because that's one of the areas that is killing us right now, and employing millions and millions of people in the onion value
people
chain.
in the onion value chain.
Yes.
Very good. Pacific.
Oh, thank you. I'm Pacific Nshimimana, and I am a farmer, first of all, and I grew up in a farming community. My family has been farming in Eastern Rwanda for many generations. Then after graduation, I did biotechnology. I started the career of a farmer for profession. So my profession is to produce food, but also help my community to be efficient in producing. We help them to have information on what technology they can use. We also work with them on marketing their production, because as I started, I was a small farm. The production was really small that it was really hard to market it. So I used my community, who are also doing farming, to collectively market our production together and make sure that whoever buys the production we have knows also the struggle of farmers. So I'm also into communication. I help making the voice of farmers out, because I think there are many out there who are farmers, but few of them are really trying to speak about the struggle people are facing when they are producing the food we eat.
So you are farmers, you are communicators in farming industry, and educators, capacity developers. But one curiosity, when you introduce yourself, I'm Lucy Wangare, a farmer. That is what you do?
Yes.
And you do the same?
Yes.
And how do people take that? Because I know you look like this even when you are in your business. So what do they say?
Few people would believe it.
Few people?
Yes, because they are used to unload dirty and hopeless person as a farmer. But I believe as the young people of Africa, we are the one who are going to change this story, because I don't think in 2060, with the Agenda 2063, we'll be seeing a farmer who is doing the same thing that like my grandma did, because the world is evolving, the technology is coming, and we have the most educated generation of young people in Africa, which is going to take part into what's going to be the agriculture sector in the next 10 or 20 years coming.
I hope that will happen. Educated young Africans into agriculture, I think it will be indeed a turning point to having the agricultural sector as an economically vibrant sector. Now, tell me, what is the position of the youth in agriculture today on the African continent?
I'd say in Kenya, the narrative is quickly changing. Adaptation of agriculture among the youth is on the rise, and they are proud and they are talking about it. So probably for us right now is having more people in it and making it a lucrative business. Because for us, as long as we make money, we don't have a problem of doing gumboots and heels at the same time, as long as we're making money in agriculture. Yeah.
And the youth, African youth are, aware of that. Agriculture could be that sector. How many are involved? What is the involvement of the youth in agriculture in Africa today when you look at it? People who are at your age or younger or a bit older involved in agriculture. How many of them are in agriculture and producing and talking the way you are talking?
I want to start by history. How has Africa been producing farmers? How do we train or make sure that we are going to have the next generation of farmers? In history, if you fail in school, you can meet the criteria to become a police or a soldier. You've lost almost everything in Africa. then you think, okay, nothing is left for me, let me go to the village and start farming. That's how it has been operating. But I think we need to change the narration, and we need to change also the policy that governs how we train and produce farmers. Like we even produce doctors, medical doctors. Normally it takes like 10 years to train a medical doctor, a generalist.
A specialist.
Yes. But for farmers, do we have that time? No, I'm not sure. What I think is we need, as young people, to come together, regardless of that history, that farmers were the ruler in other sectors and they will fall in farming. This time we need to train farmers who are educated and give them space so that they can flourish and become role models to others that will come after us.
Mm. So agriculture was for the losers.
Yes.
And psychologically, that is why people were not very much attracted by agriculture.
Sure.
But tell me, why should we get the youth involved in agriculture today, specifically today, and going forward?
I think it could be one of the largest employers if we look at agriculture as a business. So whether it's in farming, actually the discussion should not be about farming, we're talking about agriculture. And the value chain is very long and anybody can loop into the value chain. Like the people who are taking the videos right now, today they are employed by agriculture but at a different level. So if we look at agriculture as a business, there's so many things that we can do that is beyond production. That goes beyond the whole narration of you don't have land, you don't have access to water. There's so much that we can do in the agriculture value chain that don't involve tilling. That said, we can't do anything without tilling being done. So I think our solutions and our challenges start from production, but there's so much we can do beyond that to bring the business aspect in agriculture. Yeah.
So the youth, we need to bring in the youth, to bring the youth in agriculture, because it can be a lucrative business.
Yeah.
Do you have some other reasons why we should really create that interest to the youth to come into agriculture?
Yes. Africa is the malnourished continent, and everyone is speaking about it. Many people make business out of it. But in my beliefs, it's really possible to turn this around and make sure that Africa can also become a source of food for even the rest of the world. I think statistically, it's known that Africa has the biggest land for farming. We even still use it, but we are not using it to the full potential of itself. How can we make it productive? How can we make it successful for the young people? That's how we'll be bringing in the youth. Because young people are mostly innovative. They have energy, full of energy. They can do anything to make themselves successful. But how do we engage them? How do we also support those who already started? That's what we really define how we call youth to jump into that.
I think it is very interesting. Africa has huge arable land. Africa has also, I would say, very fertile land.
True.
Yeah. But yet we are hungry, we are malnourished, and it is chronic malnutrition. So we need to do something about it. And of course the youth has to do something to change that. And we know that if we have very good plan and put in the knowledge and bring agribusiness into it, it can be even lucrative. And you say, yeah, tillage and all those dirty and very hard jobs don't define what we call agriculture. Agriculture is wider than that. I think that is what we'll look into in a few minutes.